Greetings, friends, and Firebirds fans, and welcome to the Fire and Ice podcast presented by Desert Willow Golf Resort. Fire and Ice, the official podcast of your Coachella Valley Firebirds of the American Hockey League. Coming to you from Palm Desert, California, a mere Jeremy McKenna, they call him Pipes, mere Jeremy McKenna wrist rocket away from the Birds' home ice of Acrisure Arena. I'm your host, Judd Spicer. Along with this bi-monthly podcast endeavor, also have the privilege and pleasure of again serving as your Firebirds Insider, friends. Those articles can be found on a monthly basis online. You type in cvfirebirds.com, which of course is your home for all things Coachella Valley Firebirds, including, but certainly not limited to, team, schedule, merchandise, roster information. Of course, you can get your tickets there as well. Might I also suggest downloading the CV Firebirds app. Great way to get tickets and parking for all your Coachella Valley Firebirds games. Also a great way to get tickets for anything and everything happening on non-game nights at Acrisure Arena. As per the presenting sponsor of the Fire and Ice podcast, Desert Willow Golf Resort, friends. Home of the Mountain View and Firecliff courses, respectively. Also home to the awesome and on-site Palm Desert Golf Academy. You're going to want to make those tee times online at desertwillow.com. Just 3.5 miles away from Acrisure Arena. Great day to put together some putt-to-puck, awesome desert segue. Get your golf on at Desert Willow Golf Resort in Palm Desert, and then just slide right down Cook. Kick it on over to Varner. Just a couple minutes. Go from the golf course straight to a Firebirds game. Desert Willow Golf Resort. Again, tee times are made online at desertwillow.com. Some good things, Firebirds friends, happening on ice of late after what I think we can all agree was a bit of a shaky start in year two for our Birds. Helping me to discuss the current 3-game win streak. He's probably the hottest player on the ice right now. Scored in 3 consecutive games, including a recent overtime game winner against San Jose. Shane Wright going to join me on this November 3 episode of Fire and Ice. Briefly, friends, before we get to that visit with Shane, before we get to the staple Firebirds Freeze Frame segment on the Fire and Ice podcast, just got to take a moment, just got to step back a little bit and acknowledge the tragic passing this weekend past, tragic passing in England of Adam Johnson. He was an Iron Ranger, hailing from northern Minnesota, home state of yours truly. He was also an excellent standout UMD Bulldog. That would be the alma mater of yours truly. NHLer, AHLer, obviously plied his trade overseas as well. And just really, friends, just a tragic loss in our sport. Total freak accident on the ice. Adam's former team, our I-10 rival, Ontario Reign, for which he played, did a great job recently acknowledging him. Firebirds in the most recent home game against Abbotsford also had a moment, deservedly so, of silence for Adam. And this is going to result, I think we can acknowledge, friends, in some changes in safety and safety gear donned by professional hockey players, and that's probably going to trickle down to other levels of hockey as well. You know, in the most recent post-game presser, this occurring after the Firebirds Abbotsford win, my friend and colleague Shad Powers of the Desert Sun asked some great questions of both Firebirds players and Firebirds head coach Dan Bilesma about the Adam Johnson tragedy and the fallout that might occur with teams looking at safety gear differently. And I got to say, the answers were extremely meaningful. They were palpable, even a little bit more emotive than I probably expected or even realized they would be. I very much trust that our guy Shad Powers in the Desert Sun is going to put together a great article on those responses, something you're going to want to check out in an upcoming issue of the Desert Sun newspaper. In the interim, a very sincere and a very heartfelt R.I.P. to Minnesota's own former Bulldog, Adam Johnson. Sobering moment to be sure. No real great segue from that, but nonetheless, we press on, friends. The aforementioned Firebirds freeze frame. Birds have been playing some great hockey of late. Yeah, a little bit of an inconsistent start, going 1-2 in those first 3 games, losing a couple on the Acrisure Arena home ice. Well, things have changed. That's what happens. They call it sports. Firebirds have won 3 consecutive games since that 1-2 start. And in 2 of those games, franchise record tying 8 goals, including the most recent 8-goal output in the spooky Halloween win over Abbotsford. In that game, also worthy of note, those 8 goals scored by 8 different players. Yeah, the boys seem to be finding a bit of a groove. Upcoming games include this Saturday, November 4th, boys hitting the road again, traveling up to Bakersfield, and then get another handful, or at least 3 days off after that. Yeah, funky, interesting start to the schedule. I think we can all acknowledge that. Might as well interject that here. I might ask Shane Wright about that as well. But, last year was so unique and so aberrant in the way that the schedule laid out that we had these chunks. We had these chunks of home games, which I found really pleasing, where the fellas were home for like 2 or 3 week stretches, and we get all these home games in the same window of time. Well, things are, I guess, more typical in how the schedule, typical AA schedule, is now laid out. Yeah, we've got just those 3 home games under the belt. The 4th home game taking place this Wednesday, upcoming Wednesday, November 8th. That is at home versus San Diego. A couple more days off then for the boys before another home game next week. That is Saturday, November 11th. 6 p.m. puck drop, mind you. Saturday, November 11th versus Calgary. Let's move on quickly to some of the top scorers for the Birds thus far through 6 games in the season. Team captain Max McCormick, by virtue of what I want to say was a franchise record-setting 5-point night in the first of 2 games on the road that occurred last week, last Saturday versus San Jose. He had 5 points. Well, he now leads the team with 8 points. That's 3 goals coupled with 5 assists. Newcomer Marian Studenich had a chance to visit with Marian a little bit in the Abbotsford post-game presser. First time that have a chance to talk to him. Been availing himself very well, friends, in a Birds uniform. Second on the team with 7 points, 3 goals, and 4 assists. 3-way tie for third with 6 points. That includes this episode's guest, Shane Wright, leading the team with 4 total goals. Cole Lind also has 6 points, while Cameron Hughes has a team-leading 6 assists to account for all of his points thus far into the season. In goal, Chris Drieger continuing to play some fine hockey between the pipes. 3-2 on his 5 games in the season, including a 1.82 goals against average. Of the 4 goalies in the league thus far with a minimum of 4 starts, that's the 5th best goals against in the league. Also a save percentage of .936. Again, of the goalies with at least 4 starts, that would chart him as 4th in the American Hockey League. Hey, one more nod before we get to that visit with Shane Wright. Talk about the Kraken and their performance from time to time. Well, let's not look up, let's look down. There may be a better way to put that. Of course, not looking down, but we are looking to the next rung of professional hockey, the ECHL, the affiliate, Kansas City Mavericks, affiliate of both the Kraken and the Firebirds. They're spotless, dudes. 6-0. Best record in the ECHL. Kudos to the KC Mavericks. See how long they can extend that preface streak. All right, dudes. All right, Firebirds friends. That offered, that prefaced. Let's get to this episode's visit with Firebirds forward Shane Wright. All right, Firebirds friends. As prefaced at the onset of the Fire and Ice podcast, my guest this episode, he's a native of Burlington, Canada, still just 19 years old. Seems like he's been around the block a little bit, but the dude is still just 19. 4th overall pick of the 2022 entry draft by your Seattle Kraken. Through 6 games, he is our Coachella Valley Firebirds team leader in goals with 4. That includes in 3 straight games. Welcome forward Shane Wright, the Fire and Ice podcast. Hello, Shane.
How's it going?
Going well, man. Thank you for joining and appreciate your time. Kind of I think it's fair to say a bit of a funky start to the season for the Firebirds through the first 3 games, a couple losses at home. But since then, in the ensuing 3 games, we've got a pair of franchise record-tying 8-goal games. Really a dominating win over a seemingly good Abbotsford team on Halloween, included a beautiful goal by you. I mean, it's early in the season, man, so I don't want to call it like a turnaround, but to what do you attribute the improved play of late?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you get the start of the season, you get a new group of guys in the room, and guys coming into a different system for the first time. I think it's always going to be a bit of an adjustment period, and some growing pains as well. Just kind of figure out the systems and building up that chemistry with each other as well. But I think those 3 games to start obviously weren't our best, but we picked up the last couple here, and we're building that chemistry, building up what guys play well with other guys, and guys are trying to understand and starting to understand the systems a little bit better now, and I think we're clicking. I think we're really playing well, especially the last 3 games. So trying to keep that momentum going, but also keep trying to build as best as we can as well.
Yeah, we have seen that tweaking of personnel and line changes, and Dan Bilesma spoke to that in the post-game press conference after the Halloween win, and I would agree that was by far the most impressive performance, the crispest style of play, the Firebirds that we've grown used and accustomed to seeing over the course of last year. Speaking of last year, and this is something I'm trying to do less and less, do you feel like there's a little bit of a hangover from how last year ended? And it might just be, or rather, it's not just from the players' perspective. I mean, I kind of sensed it from coaches I spoke to and interviewed. I sensed it among other media members, players, people that work in the organization, that turning the page after the way last year ended. An amazing year. No one liked the way it ended at the total finale, but a little bit of hangover and turning the page to year 2. Did you sense that at all?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I feel like there's obviously a shorter off season for a lot of guys, so I think those playoffs are still kind of fresh in a lot of guys' minds. Obviously, the returning guys, so obviously still aware of that, still kind of thinking about that a little bit, but on the other hand, also trying to move on. It's a new season, it's a new group of guys, it's a new it's a fresh start here this season, so new expectations, all that. So maybe a little bit of hangover, but I feel like I think guys are moving on. Guys are focusing more on this season. They're kind of worried about what happened last playoffs.
Your own play, Shane, has been exemplary to get season number 2 underway. Rather, got the mention of the team leading 4 goals. And these are some great goals. These aren't cheapies that you scored. Of course, got the overtime winner in the latter of back-to-back games against San Jose, and then a beauty of a goal splitting defenders right up the middle in the big 8-3 win on Halloween over Abbotsford. You got rave reviews for your performance at the Seattle Kraken camp, and amongst, I guess I would say, the fellow media members that I sit with during the games and watch you play, we're all like, man, Shane Wright looks bigger, faster, stronger, and seems also to be playing a little bit more freely than what we saw when you came back to the Firebirds for the playoff run last year. Would you agree that that assessment's accurate?
Yeah, definitely would agree. I think with it being having the experience of the playoffs, and kind of experiencing what it's like to be here, and to play at the level here, definitely feel more comfortable, more confident myself, and my abilities, and the fact that I belong here, and I can be a high end player and really make a difference here, in these games. So definitely feel way more confident. Definitely feel like a different player almost, but really happy with my development, and how I've progressed over the summer here.
Are you bigger? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a little bit bigger and stronger. Yeah, I gained a couple pounds, and I think definitely put on a good amount of muscle as well this summer. So,
anything in particular that led to that body growth, that body sculpting? Anything that you did in the off season that you found particularly effective, Shane?
I think I just had a really consistent schedule in the off season. Every single week, I knew what my schedule was. I knew where and when I was working out, and skating and all that, and little things like my eating habits, and nutrition, and fuel, and hydrating properly. I really tried to focus a lot on that kind of stuff, and maintaining a really strict schedule, and always making sure I'm getting enough workouts in, getting enough food, and fuel, and all that. So I think just having really good structure in the off season really having a routine every single day, every single week, and sticking to that, and try not to take cheat days or cheat meals or whatever that is. So I think that was kind of a big focus of mine in the summer for sure.
What would an example be of the dietary discipline?
I think just making sure you're eating proper. Fast food and stuff, and candy and chocolates and all that. Obviously, in moderation is okay, but if you eat too much of that, it can really start to build up and really can affect your physical play and all that. So I really tried to cut a lot of that stuff out this summer. Really, wanted to focus on eating healthy foods, eating the right things, but also eating more food and making sure I could put on that muscle, put on that weight a little bit more, to offset the amount I was burning, working out and skating and all that too.
Do you have guilty pleasure when it comes to sweets or junk food?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a bit of a sweet tooth, so like a cookie or a brownie or something like that. I've always been a little soft too. I've always kind of had that sweet tooth, but I try to stay away as much as I can. But every now and then I let myself have a little bit of a treat.
You're a better man and certainly more disciplined one than I. As mentioned, Shane, man, still just 19 years old. It seems like you've been around a bit. I mean, just going through your playing history and your playing file. I want to ask you this, and it's kind of a two-part question. Going back to 2019, 2020, between the OHL, the AHL, the NHL, and Team Canada, could you guess, including playoff games, how many games that you've played since that 2019-2020 season?
Since 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, so leading back to junior and everything too?
Let's
or like
see.
just past season, like 2022, 2023 season?
No, going back to the OHL 2019, 2020. You played a lot of hockey.
Yeah, I also I missed the one season as well, the 2020 season. Kind of about
I should have interjected that, of course. Yeah,
it's over 200 for sure, maybe like 220, 230, I would say.
Exceptional guess, Shane. I should have added, of course, we had the COVID season in there as well, but 214. Yeah.
Oh, man. Not a bad guess then, yeah.
No, that was an excellent guess. And my, I guess, two-part question is to that. It's kind of a weird start to the schedule for the Firebirds this year. I mean, basically through the first, and we're looking ahead a little bit now, but for the first 6 weeks of the season, you guys will have 10 games in the books. We're already at 6, and even that feels a little methodical. But yeah, for 6 weeks, just 10 games. I mean, for a guy that has played a lot of hockey, does that feel, I don't know, does it feel weird? It seems like there's a lot of off days.
For sure. Yeah, I think, the start of this season in particular, we had the home opener on a Friday night, and then we didn't play until the following Saturday. We had 7 days with no game. So that was obviously a big chunk of time without playing. So that's going to kind of add to that. And, I feel like the game's been pretty spread out. Obviously we had the back-to-back, this past weekend, but the games have been, kind of spread out, and looking forward to the schedule. It's going to get a little busier once again to, December and January and stuff, but obviously right now it's a little bit easier. So try to take advantage of that a little bit.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Once we get a little deeper into the meat of the season, that picks up, and it will all equal out in the wash. Everyone's going to get their 72 games in, and I hope and trust for the Firebirds a lot of playoff games added to that. But with all these off days, how are you filling the time?
Well, I mean, in Palm Springs, there's a couple of golf courses here, so
just a couple.
Yeah, just one or two here. Yeah, no, yeah, I think on an off day, guys always try to get out and golf and get outside, enjoy the weather. Maybe sit out by the pool or something like that. Just kind of finding these things to kill time, especially on days off here. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, weather's always great here, so you can go outside, and there's not a bad weather day for golf or for laying out by the pool. So just got a couple things like that to kill some time.
Are you a good player? A good golfer?
I'm okay. Definitely working on the game still, but I can hold my own. Yeah.
Okay. Asked to several of the players about their golf games. I know a lot of the Birds are avid golfers. Who would you say is the best?
Best player on the team, probably I'd say Husey. I'd have to go to Husey. Yeah.
Okay. When I've asked that to others, many have said Andrew Podorowski is the
Yeah,
best player, but a few have mentioned Cameron Hughes as well.
yeah, I think him and Potsy and Husey are kind of 1, 2, I would say, on the team. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of those guys, it's really interesting roster, Shane, that and a stacked roster, I feel safe to say, a stack of talent that the Firebirds have put together for season number 2. A really unique mix of veterans and guys that have spent some time in the National Hockey League, spent some time in the AHL as well, and then a lot of really young dudes. Yourself, 19, and you don't turn 20 for even a few more months, it should be noted, until right after the new year. But you're not alone. It's part of this, I think we can say, youth movement that is really a big part of the Firebirds roster this year. Jacob Melanson, he's just 20. Logan Morrison, had a chance to chat with him after he scored his first goal the other night. He's just 21. Of course, Riker Evans, also just 21. And I feel like I'm missing. Ryan Winterton. He's only 20 years old as well.
Yeah.
But that's combined with some of the guys that we mentioned. I mean, Podorowski's been around a bit. He's 29. John Hayden is 28. Max McCormick, 31. Gustav Olofsson, he's 28 years old. Any of these guys, and pun totally intended here, taking you under their wing, been a mentor to you?
Yeah, I mean, all these guys have been really good. All the older guys, all the veteran guys, are great towards all the young guys. They're always looking to help, always looking to get us more involved and have us feel a little more comfortable in the team and within the group here. So I mean, it's an unbelievable group of veterans, and the leadership we have is really special here, and how tight the group is as well, how close knit we are as a team. Is really cool to see. Everyone's best friends in that room. Everyone gets along really well. So yeah, and it starts with those veteran, those leadership guys. They kind of build up that culture, and they kind of develop that, and what it's turned into is a really close, tight knit group that really cares about one another.
Yeah, that rapport and that camaraderie of the team really came through last year, and now can start to see as we get a little deeper in the season, can see it already again this year, that it really is a great mix. Anything that maybe one of those guys has taught you about the pro hockey lifestyle, some of the things that you mentioned about taking care of yourself? I don't know. Is there a particular lesson that one of those veterans may have passed on to you over the course of the last year that has really stuck for you?
I feel like a lot of older guys, wherever they play, always say younger guys, you really got to enjoy it while you're there. They said it goes by fast. Really, your career can go by real fast. So really got to soak and enjoy all these moments. And that's a big message from our leadership guys, our older players, is just enjoy the moment here, enjoy the process, and the group we have here, because it's as much as it seems like it's going to last longer, it actually feels like it actually doesn't. So really just kind of soak it all in, really enjoy every second of it.
Friends, you're tuning in to the Fire and Ice podcast presented by Desert Willow Golf Resorts, the official podcast of your Coachella Valley Firebirds of the American Hockey League. Shane Wright, Firebirds frontliner, rather, is my guest on this episode. Take a little bit of a somber tone. You'll bear with me for a moment on this, Shane. After the game on Halloween, my friend and colleague Shad Powers with the Desert Sun newspaper, I know Shad's interviewed you at least a couple times. He asked both Dan Bilesma and some of your teammates about the tragic loss of Adam Johnson and what the domino effect or fallout might be with players taking further consideration and protective gear. I wasn't planning to ask you about this, but the responses, especially from Coach, they were very earnest. They were well thought out. It wasn't something that was like just a quick answer and that he felt bad. I mean, he discussed how you guys as a team have talked about the protective gear and the impact of that tragic loss. Is it something that you've thought about personally, changing how you might protect yourself?
Oh, I mean, of course. I mean, anytime you see something like that happen, and yes, it's a freak accident, but this is a sport where there's blades in play, and it's a high speed, high intensity, fast sport, and things like that can happen. I've started wearing the wrist guards, the wrist protecting guards, the cut proof, and I've been looking at the neck guard, the neck protective gear as well, and it's scary seeing something like that. It's really scary. You feel so like you don't know what to feel. You feel awful for the whole situation there, and his family and his teammates and all that, and it definitely makes you think and makes you really want to soak in, really savor and enjoy these moments, and also take those precautions. Maybe there's a mandate coming or whatever that looks like. Taking those precautions to keep everyone safe. After seeing something like that is definitely something that I would be okay with for sure. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid growing up playing in Minnesota and playing youth hockey, there was a tragedy that befell another kid, not in my specific city, but it was, I think, in our league. And it kind of resulted in this domino effect of all the moms going out and getting these neck guards. Now, at the time, we're going back some decades, but it was, Shane, kind of an uncomfortable hunk of plastic. It was like a choker, and you're always kind of like doing this adjustment with your neck to get yourself comfortable. I think there was also a device, like some goalies wear, that kind of like a flapper that would go down from your helmet and protect your neck. But that too was also a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know. Have you found something for the neck region that you find is not going to impair the way you either skate or the way that you feel comfortable on the ice?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Some of these neck guards or protective gear can be big and bulky and uncomfortable, and obviously players are particular with feeling and how they feel on the ice and the equipment they wear. So maybe they don't want to wear a big and bulky neck guard, but there are other options, like the shirts that have the built-in neck protector. When I was younger as a kid, I always wore one of those. My dad would always buy me, that specific shirt with the neck protector already built in. But I mean, there's a lot of things out there like that as alternative options if you don't want to just wear the standard, kind of only neck guard, like straight on neck guard, the more bulky one.
So the one that's part of like a collar, that's part of a shirt, is that kind of an accurate way to describe it? You think you might give that a go, or you kind of hear your teammates talking about, I might give that a shot?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's always something you think about. You always want to have that in the back of your mind, and any way you can protect yourself after seeing a tragic event like that. And you want to explore options. So you want to look at what if I were to go this route, what I think would be best or what would feel best. Would it be too uncomfortable, would it be too big and bulky or not, whatever that looks like. So I don't think there's anything wrong with researching and looking up different shirts or whatever that kind of looks like to find the protection that you need.
Segue away from that, Shane, talk to you at the onset, of course, about being the 4th overall pick in the 2022 draft. And hey, man, when you're a top 5 pick, I don't care if it's hockey, football, baseball, you're going to have an enhanced focus and probably some enhanced expectation. For you, have you ever thought to yourself, man, why wasn't I? Maybe I wish I was like the 24th pick instead of the 4th pick. Then I wouldn't have maybe the same microscope, and I could just go out, build my career, do my thing. Or do you enjoy the fact? Did you enjoy the fact that you were picked so high? That's what you want.
Oh, of course. No, you always want to be picked as high as possible. I think, with today's day and age, media and attention, you're going to have those expectations. That's what we sign up for. As a hockey player, as a pro hockey player, you're going to have media attention. You're going to have eyes on you and expectations, and that just kind of comes with the territory and comes with position and the profession that we're in. So I wouldn't have it any other way. You can't have one without the other, I feel like. So that's always going to be there as a pro hockey player, no matter how highly touted or how whatever level you're at. There's always going to be that pressure and those expectations. So I think that's just kind of something that comes along with the position.
You ever take a peek at the three guys drafted ahead of you to see how their respective careers are going?
Yeah, of course, you always kind of follow along with those guys, see what they're doing, and see how they're progressing and all that. Definitely follow along a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're all in different situations, different players, so you can't really put too much stock or put too much thought into their what they're doing, their numbers, or how they progressed over the years. Since we're all at different stages in that process.
A couple more for you today, Shane. When digging around and putting together the Shane Wright files for the Fire and Ice podcast, came across a picture somewhere. Pretty sure it was you in a Vince Gill T-shirt. You're a country guy. You like the Vince Gill?
Yeah, I'm a huge country guy. I picture on my Instagram page. I just wore that T-shirt to a Zach Brown band concert this past summer, and a couple of people commented on they like the old school throwback Vince Gill shirt. So yeah, I'm a huge country guy. It's really the only kind of music I listen to. I love it a lot. So that's where that came from. Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was a vintage Vince Gill shirt. If it was a modern day one, I don't know if he's small enough for his likeness to fit on the shirt. Sorry, I had to get a country dig in there somewhere. I'm not a huge country guy, but do you listen to country before games?
Before games, I just kind of listen what's ever playing in the room. It's not usually country in the rooms before games. Usually like rap or EDM or kind of pump up music, that kind of stuff. But just kind of my free time or just like driving to the rink or something. I'm usually listen to country music. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and again, I'm kind of not a real country guy, but I can't see like plugging in a Vince Gill song before you go play the Bakersfield Condors, and that's going to get you motivated.
Yeah, that's probably not the right situation for a country song, but if you're just kind of relaxing or just going for a drive or something, whatever it looks like, that's usually when I'm listening to that.
Okay. Now, while I'm not into country personally, of course, I know that the Stagecoach Festival, it's a big deal, and I've heard from many friends and colleagues that it's a great time. I don't know I'm trying to remember if you were here last year for the Stagecoach Festival, if you were back here at that point. Is that something that you've attended or something that you want to attend?
I've never been to it. No, obviously
Okay.
it's a pretty big, country festival and stuff, but usually it's in the middle of the season, so we probably have games around the time, so it's not really something the players would ever go to, but obviously it'd be cool to go to one day eventually, maybe. But yeah, it's too tough to kind of get out to one of those things when it's in the middle of the season now. But
Understood. Well, country music or otherwise, don't change that dial, friends, because you've been listening to Shane Wright, Firebirds forward, currently leads CV with a team high 4 goals, including scores in 3 straight games. Shane, great visiting with you. Appreciate your time. Go get them up in Bakersfield. Of course, a little redemption after they beat us in the season opener. And then we'll see you guys back here on Wednesday, the 8th against San Diego. Thanks for your time, Shane.
yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
All right, folks. Going to wrap it up for this episode of the Fire and Ice podcast, presented by Desert Willow Golf Resort, the official podcast of your Coachella Valley Firebirds of the AHL. Ample appreciation for your time, your interest, your ears. Further appreciation goes to this episode's guest, Shane Wright. See how long he can continue his red-hot goals streak. Additional tip of the cap, of course, goes to this program's presenting sponsor, Desert Willow Golf Resort. Your excellent putt-to-puck day and Segway. Go tee it up over at the Mountain View or Fire Cliff courses at Desert Willow, or heck, get some instruction at the awesome and on-site Palm Desert Golf Academy, and then skate it on over, just 3.5 miles away, from the Firebirds' home ice of Acrisure Arena. Get those tee times or check out the Palm Desert Golf Academy online at desertwillow.com. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you at the barn in the upcoming games Wednesday, November 8th against San Diego, Saturday, Calgary, That's a 6 p.m. drop. That's Saturday, November 11th. And I think I neglected to mention before, I don't know, some people consider Sunday the end of the week. Some people consider it the beginning of the week. However you might look at it, whether you use the Julian or Gregorian calendar, I don't know. But I should also add that the Birds do play at home Sunday, November 12th. That is a 5 p.m. puck drop versus the Tucson Roadrunners. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you soon at Acrisure Arena. And remember, as always, one team, one valley, rising together.